On to sport now, and a real treat for Ricky Hatton fans, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a comeback, though. Those days are behind him, he tells us. But there is another chance to go walking in a Hatton wonderland. A new documentary based around Ricky's ill-fated comeback against Vyacheslav Senchenko promises unprecedented access and reveals the emotional turmoil he was battling with leading up to his last fight. We've managed to get hold of a few clips for you, and even a chat with the man himself. Ricky popped into our studio just a short time ago. Your first time in the new Granada studios, and we've upset you already because of the view, haven't we?
Yeah, we could just see a bit of the ground, yeah, but no, it's not too bad. I'm retired now, so you're lucky, Chris.
Tell us about this documentary. What can we expect from it?
I retired after the Manny Pacquiao fight. My life just, went to absolutely... I couldn't have got any lower, really. This man of the people, Jack the lad, Rick, kid next door, Ricky Hatton, and my life just absolutely fell apart. And I dragged myself back, to getting myself fit. I lost 5 stone in weight, battled all my demons, and got fit, and I ended up making a comeback. I had lots of, have I still got it? Have I not still got it? What if I get beat? Am I going to go back to the dark place I have been? I had, sorry to say, the trouble with my family's overlooking things, and a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people don't see, and you get the chance to see what I was actually going through.
Ricky, let me see your eyes now. How much you want this? Everything.
Probably one of the most emotional things I think I've done in my whole life.
Not just a documentary that you're here to talk about, you've got a book out as well. What's that been like, that experience? It
has been very, very emotional writing the book. Sadly going into retirement, I had a bad, fallout with my parents, which, didn't help, and my life really went to pieces.
You mentioned there the fallout with your family. That comes as quite a shock to a lot of people, because we've covered you for years and your family, and you seemed like the most tight-knit family unit you could wish for. And then in the book you're reading about punch-ups with your dad.
Yeah, it was a shame. I mean, we fell out, over a certain reason. I don't really going to go into too much, really, but my son's trust to a father was massively, massively broken. And the heartbreaking thing is that, my father felt he'd done nothing wrong, and I won't budge on it. There's certain things that I needed to know that I didn't know, and I was very surprised when I found out certain things. But, I'm trying best I can to try and move on, with my life. I have good days, I have bad days. I still go and see a psychiatrist once a month for me. Well, I call it me top up. It makes me feel better about myself. Sometimes, even if I haven't got something wrong with me, I still go and see, and I feel better for it. And I have a lot more happier days than sad days now.
But could you ever see a day at some point in the distant future, perhaps, when your family is all back together again? Or is that something you'd like?
I really can't see it, because, if my dad had said sorry, I shouldn't have done that, then we've got something to work on. But the fact that, I'm sort of like being made to be the bad one, which has got me a little bit flabbergasted, to be honest with you.
The book is closure for you. What happens now for you? What's the future for Ricky Hatton?
If I can make a world champion of someone, or a British champion, or a European champion, or give someone something back to the sport that has given my family me and my family such a wonderful life, that's my next goal now. Boxing has been so good to me, and I want it to be good for some of these other kids that I'm bringing through.
You've got plenty of great times to look back on in your career. Thanks for coming in, and next time we'll do the interview in front of City's ground instead of Old Trafford.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And you can see Night of the Fight, Hatton's Last Stand, on ITV4 next Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Well, staying with boxing and
changing theme somewhat to boxing, Ricky Hatton has spoken to us today about his battle with drink and depression, and a very painful split with his parents and his brother. Ricky documents some of the darker moments of his life in his new autobiography, including a scuffle with his father.
The hitman rose to the very top of his sport, but after a brutal defeat to Manny Pacquiao more than 4 years ago, sunk to the depths. He admits to trying to take his own life on several occasions. Well, earlier today, he sat down with Richard Askham.
I kept a lot of my problems inside for so long, you know what I mean? And, it's very hard for a world champion to turn around and say to anyone, that, I'm crying, I want to kill myself, my head's in bits, can you give me a hug? A world champion saying, can you give me a hug? These are very hard things to admit when you've been seen as this former world champion, take on anyone, fight anyone, take all them fans to Vegas. All of a sudden, I'm a broken man, I'm crying to myself, I'm asking people to give me a hug. I don't think I am the same man because of it all. to be honest with you. You know, I still go and speak to someone once a month, even if I've not got anything on my mind or any problems. I feel going and speaking to someone and getting it all off my chest, I feel better for it. It's something I need to do.
You mentioned the rift with your family, with your mum and dad and your brother as well. Have you started to make any sense of that?
I'll stand by my story. You know, my dad thinks that he did nothing wrong. I think, you know, a massive break of trust was done, and I won't move from that story. And I just want to get on with my life. I want my parents to get on with their life, and sadly, that's what happens in life. It's not nice. It's something I've not enjoyed one bit about it. And what, unfortunately, with the book coming out, it brings it a little bit more to the forefront again. But I see the book as closure in more ways than one, on my problems, closure on my family disputes, closure on my boxing, you know, and hopefully now I can move on and, you know, be a better person and have a better life.
Any chance of reconciliation at all?
I don't think so. You know, my father feels there's been wrongdoing. I feel there has, and that's where it's unfortunately stops. You know what I mean? It's so unfortunately it doesn't seem to be the case.
We're going to see now your son Campbell when he was a lot younger, when we first met. I don't even remember this, but have a look at this.
I want to go fast.
You want to go fast?
Yeah, I want to go boom boom.
Who's the champ?
Daddy.
Daddy's the champ.
I want to come
What does Daddy do?
box box.
He box.
That was when Campbell was 2, Ricky. And if at that time I'd have said to you, 10 years later, you've achieved all this, you've become a world champion, you've sold out Vegas several times over, but you've lost to 2 of the best fighters perhaps that have ever lived. What would you have said to me? Would you have said that's not going to happen?
Boxing has given me such a great life through of what I've achieved, and you know, the main goal now is to try and become the best dad I've ever done. You know, and just when I see Campbell now, he's nearly a teenager, and when that appears on the TV, he's at the age where he'll cringe a little bit. But
yeah, he will, won't he?
For me, it's wonderful to see, and that's what my life. My boxing life was all about, was providing for my little ones, and I'm very proud of the job that I've done for them, that they're going to be able to, you know, enjoy good things in life, I guess.
Ricky
Hope he
Hatton.
does. Yeah.
Talking to Richard. Richard's here. He's been very public all the way through his career. Always had time to speak to the media. Was a media darling, really. But for him to speak so candidly and so openly, and to talk about some of the problems that he's had, how do you assess that he is mentally now? Is he in a good place?
I think he's in a reasonable place. I mean, when you hear Ricky talking about the split with his family, I know that's quite deep and has been very difficult for both sides, and both sides have their own story. But I think Ricky has found some sort of peace. He seems to have come to terms with having retired from boxing, because that was very difficult for him to come to terms with. He's got his 3 children, his long-term partner Jennifer. I think he has found some peace, but obviously he hasn't made peace particularly with his parents.
I mean, we heard him say at the end there he wants to kind of live an ordinary life now and get on with life.
Yeah, he does, and you know, he's got his stable of boxers. That's going very well for him. You know, he's still a very, very big name in sport. A very, very popular name as well, and I think perhaps that personal side of his life, he wants to put that to one side now.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
So popular, so it's upsetting to see him being upset, really, isn't it? Because we all love him.
But my assessment of him today was he was relaxed. It was great to see him. I haven't seen him for a few months. Great to see him. He was relaxed. I think as I say, I think he's found some peace in his life.
Yeah.
Rich, thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Fascinating to hear Ricky talking to get
you.
your impressions too.